I'm calling to order the Currituck Planning Board meeting for April the 14th. At this time, will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask for any disqualifications on the case that is before us. Okay, hearing none, we do have a quorum, and we did have a change to the agenda. The text amendment for Jordan Danaker was taken off, and the only case we have in front of us today is the Clifton White heirs. So we will move to that shortly. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion, or I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Motion passes. Item 5, approval of the minutes from our March 10th meeting, which was, I believe, just a text amendment. If you've had a chance to look at the minutes and you don't see any changes that need to be made, at this time I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our March 10th meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Motion passes. Seeing no old business, we're going to move on to new business. Case in front of us today, Planning Board 26-03, Clifton White heirs. The request for conditional rezoning of parcels 0041-000-070, D as in dog, -0000, parcel 0041, 000-070, F as in Frank, -0000. Last parcel would be 0041-000-070, L as in Larry, -0000, totaling 7.69 acres from agricultural, ag, and single-family residential mainland, SFM, to conditional light industrial, C-LI, for establishment of an automotive wrecker service use. At this time, we'll hear from staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening to the board tonight. As you read, this is a conditional rezoning of 7.69 acres, and you can see here the property. This is a vicinity map showing the property there in the middle, outlined in blue, the 3 different properties. Over here, you can see this is the Buckskin subdivision, Buckskin Creek subdivision. Pointers Road, just to kind of orient you there, Pointers Road here, this is East Ridge Road, Strawberry Road, and so here's the property, and then this way is where we are, Currituck Highway being here. Let's see. This is just a little bit better zoomed in aerial photography, so you can see the subject property was farmed, I believe. There are some existing ditches, some existing vegetation on the site. The property currently is zoned SFM, which we know is single-family residential mainland. The front parcel is. That's the parcel that's going to be proposed for access only, but still subject to the rezoning. And the parcels in the rear, you can see, are currently zoned agriculture, as are the surrounding properties of those 2 areas zoned similarly. The Imagine Currituck 2040 Vision Plan classifies the site as G1, which is the low-density growth transect, and you can see that the entire site is in that transect. And then the property is in the Special Flood Hazard Zone, the AE flood zone with a base flood elevation of 4. These are the FEMA flood maps that show the 100-year floodplain. That's the area that has a 1% chance of flooding each year. So just getting to the district purposes, we know that the agricultural districts established to accommodate agriculture and related uses at very low densities in rural portions of the county, and it's intended to preserve and protect active ag uses, farmlands, and other open lands for current or future ag use. Then we have the single-family mainland district purpose to accommodate low-density residential neighborhoods and supporting uses on the mainland Currituck County, intended to accommodate residential development in ways that will not interfere with agricultural activity, interrupt scenic vistas from the highway, or place undue stress on the county's educational infrastructure. And then we have the light industrial. This is the base zoning district of the conditional rezoning that's being requested. And that light industrial district is established to accommodate low-intensity light manufacturing and industrial uses, engage in assembly, fabrication, processing, distribution, storage, which I believe applies here, and research and development activities within portions of the county removed from residential and environmentally sensitive areas. The proposed use is classified by the UDO as industrial. That's the overall broad classification. The use category itself falls under what's called vehicle sales and services heavy. And the use type itself is automotive wrecker service. That's how it's defined in the ordinance. That's how it's referred to in the ordinance. So you may hear it referred to as an impound lot, but this is the UDO version of what the applicant is requesting. So here is the conditional rezoning, and just take a minute to talk about this rezoning request. So this is a rezoning to conditional light industrial. And if it's approved, this plan and any conditions will run with the property. It will not revert back to industrial, light industrial at any time unless there's a change brought in by the applicant or owner to request a change. So if the board does ultimately approve this, it's going to be subject to this plan and any conditions specific to these properties. So you can see here that we have Currituck Highway. And what I'm going to do is I think I have a more zoomed in. Let me know if this is a little bit better for you. A little bit more zoomed in for you. So we have Currituck Highway out here. This is that front parcel that's currently zoned residential. You can see there's some existing woodlands that are shown here in the green. Retained vegetative buffer is retained. There's an access here running through that parcel. And then you can see the proposed fenced-in area that will include an opaque fence, so you can't see through it, plus a chain link fence, I believe for security reasons. I believe there may be proposed, or is there barbed wire proposed on that too? Barbed wire as well for the security purposes behind the opaque fence. Again, it's about 2 acres within the fenced-in area. That will be the gravel impound lot. You can see there's a couple of parking spaces here because it will be fenced. So if someone comes to retrieve a vehicle, there's a couple parking spaces. One of these will be handicap ADA accessible as required. And then there's showing here in pink a small shed basically that they'll use potentially for an office, a little bit of power, but no one will be stationed on site in a typical office setting, is my understanding of the way that use is going to be performed. And then you can see there's an area where a stormwater control measure may be placed once the detailed major site plan is prepared. We'll know more about if that's sufficient size, but obviously the site will have to meet any site plan standards. So the entire site will have a landscape buffer around it, a type C landscape buffer. Not shown on here, but I think will get updated is there's a major arterial streetscape, so uses that abut Currituck Highway have to have buffering along the highway, so that'll be shown here, but that's required by ordinance already and would be part of this rezoning if it's approved. Any questions on the site, the conceptual plan itself?
I have one. This proposed stormwater pond, where would it overflow to?
Most likely it would overflow into, there's wetlands adjacent.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. These are the applicant's proposed conditions. So in addition to the plan, obviously there's a condition that ties to the plan that the development will conform to the plan. Lighting shall have a maximum mounting height of 10 feet and shall not exceed 15-foot candles. That's just in an effort to be more consistent with nearby residential or lower intensity uses as opposed to industrial, because it is an industrial rezoning. And then in addition to the required opaque fencing, the chain link fencing with barbed wire, there it is, and cameras shall be installed. That's one of their conditions, proposed conditions. All existing vegetation outside of the development area will be retained. And then signage shall not exceed 8 feet in height or 24 square feet. Again, a little bit more strict provision on signage regulations due to the location and the request for industrial zoning in that area. So this is a conditional rezoning, and there are factors that the board needs to consider, and those are found in your agenda packet. I believe this is going to be on page 12. It talks about adopting a statement of consistency and reasonableness. And so there's many factors that the board should consider. I'm just going to draw your attention to that now. We'll go through it later, but one of the factors to consider is the relationship between the current actual permissible development in the zoning district and the development permissible under the proposed rezoning. So you need to consider that. If there's going to be a recommendation of approval, then that's one of the factors that need to be considered. But just for your review, and these were provided to the applicant during the TRC review, just so they could see the comparison of, okay, these are the uses that are currently allowed in ag and residential, and this is the use that you're proposing. So it's just the specific automotive record service use, but some of those uses that are allowed in ag are agriculture uses, of course, civiculture dwellings, single-family dwellings, manufactured homes, some institutional uses, and parks. And then in the residential, similar agriculture uses, a little bit more intense potentially dwelling units, single-family dwellings and duplexes. Again, some institutional uses, a child care center, athletic facility, and bed and breakfast. So those are what's currently allowed, and then automotive record service is what's being proposed. So the Imagine Currituck 2040 Vision Plan, earlier I mentioned that it is in the G1 low density growth transect, which you hear a lot because there is quite a bit of property in the county in this particular transect. And that is intended for agricultural lands and compatible low density rural residential growth that may be supported by limited small scale neighborhood retail uses. Residential and non-residential uses should be in keeping with community character. And then there's the appropriate land uses, agriculture, county facilities, some of the same uses that were on the prior page. These are some policies that may apply to this particular conditional rezoning request. Land use policy 1.1, the board sees a lot. It basically says that the future land use map is a guide for decision making and planning, but does not need to be the sole basis for a decision. Policy 1.3 for land use is to consider community character and establish visions for the community. Policy 1.4, protect the uniqueness of the county through preservation of farmland, wooded areas, open space, and water views from roads, walkways, and other public spaces. Land use goal 2, carefully consider the design and location of intensive and potentially incompatible land uses to mitigate compatibility issues. It goes on to mention environmental quality, safety, overburdening local infrastructure, scale, use, design, location, and adverse effects. Land use policy 2.3 to encourage new industrial uses to locate in existing or planned industrial sites and locate on suitable land with unique locational advantages. Policy 2.8, consider the adverse effects of a development or land use decision. Land use goal 3, support new and existing commercial developments that adhere to quality, community appearance, and design standards, including landscaping improvements and signs tailored to achieve a unique community character. Then there are policies related to economic development, which is goal 1, support the retention and expansion of existing businesses and promote the development of new businesses. especially those that help diversify the local economy and are compatible with the county's natural amenities and environment. Goal 5, attract compatible industrial operations and support existing industries. Policy 5.1, industrial development shall be located on land that is physically suitable and has unique locational advantages for industry. Then an infrastructure goal to continue to provide satisfactory public safety, law enforcement, emergency management, and response. Transportation goal 1, improve safety, traffic flow, access, and appearance of major highways and roads. Transportation policy 1.4, new development should be managed to preserve the intended purpose, protect taxpayer dollars, and minimize hazardous turning movements in and out of traffic flows. Transportation policy 1.5, concentrate development density at strategic locations along major corridors while limiting highway access along intervening stretches of road. Environment goals and policies support retention and expansion of existing businesses and promote the development of, that is a duplicate of not, that is not environment goal 1. Environment policy 1.1, preserve coastal and non-coastal wetlands and riparian buffers for their natural resilience benefits. Let's see. All right, well, maybe it is. Seems awfully familiar to, I think that's just a typo in the staff report. That is economic development goal 1. The northern mainland geographic area, continuing with land use plan policies, the area is projected to experience substantial growth and development for the next 20 years, establishing a great need for planning that will balance the demands and impacts of a growing population with the historically rural nature of the area. And for that area, there's general policy 1.1, foster growth and development while maintaining the distinctive natural environment and rural character of the community. And then there's specific to the Shawbury, Crawford, Sligo area. This is the sub area of the land use plan, which is where this property is located. It is near the courthouse area, but this area is designated as Shawbury, Crawford, Sligo. Preserve agriculture and open space, as this is not a center of development. And then community vision statements may be relevant. Economic development ventures supporting existing residents and creating quality jobs in the community, or they support existing residents and create quality jobs in the community. New commercial and employment development diversifies the local economy while maintaining balance with the existing community character. The county fosters business opportunities by maintaining an excellent education system that prepares students for a prosperous future. And then coordinated growth to strategically direct growth toward areas that are accessible to existing or planned transportation networks, water and wastewater infrastructure, and compatible with surrounding land uses. Produce and implement design-focused master plans for key growth areas that include an emphasis on natural resource protection. And the board, I'm sure, is quite familiar with the conditional rezoning review standards. In the staff report, there is some staff commentary. Hopefully you were able to read some of that. I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any on that. And then again, this is the statement of consistency and reasonableness. So if this board does recommend approval, you'll need to make sure that you are capturing this in your motion, that it's consistent, describing how it's consistent with county adopted plans that are relevant, and explain why it's reasonable and in the public interest. And these are the factors. And a lot of times with conditional rezonings or specific rezonings, the question of spot zoning comes up. And, you know, it's in the packet as well. And then the TRC notes that, you know, it's spot zoning in and of itself is not necessarily illegal, but it needs to meet a standard for meeting the factors. So you need to consider the size, the physical conditions, and other attributes of the area to be rezoned, benefits and detriments to the landowners and the surrounding community and the neighbors. Again, the relationship between what's permitted under the current zoning district and what would be permitted under the proposed, why it's in the public interest, and any change conditions warranting the amendment, if there are any. The TRC recommendation is going to be for denial because of the inconsistencies with the Imagine Currituck 2040 Vision Plan, including the future land use map, Transect G1, and land use policies 1.3, which speaks to community character, 2.3, which speaks to encouraging new industrial uses to locate in existing or planned sites, and 2.8, to consider the adverse effects of development or land use decision. Land use goal 2, carefully consider the design and location of intensive and potentially incompatible land uses. And economic development policy 5.1, that industrial development should be located on land that's physically suitable and has unique locational advantages for industry. And the official zoning map. And, but a conditional rezoning is a legislative decision of the Board of Commissioners. Special considerations should be given to the plan, goals, and policies when creating new industrial zoning and uses in the county, especially along the highway corridor. The proposed use is in an area where preservation of farmland and low-density growth is encouraged. And I believe I have their conditions here at the end of the presentation, but I'll probably go back to the conceptual plan. It's probably most appropriate. And I would be happy to answer any questions the board has at this time.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
I just have one. I was reading over this, and I did it at home. I didn't really see it, but there mentioned a PowerPoint attachment. Community
sorry?
meeting,
Yes.
PowerPoint attachment.
Yeah, I did notice that that PowerPoint was not in the agenda packet. Do you want to know what was in that?
Yeah, I would like to see what was in that, please.
I don't know if they actually turned it in with their application. It's really not required to be
Okay.
turned in. But let me see if I can find it for you. I have it. Has the purpose of the community meeting. I can't really show it to you right now,
It's
but
okay.
let me just tell you what it says.
Okay.
Purpose of the community meeting, reasons that we have it, which is really good. An overview of the property to be rezoned. The existing zoning being residential and ag, proposed zone to change to light industrial. Intended use, 2 acres of the approximately 8 acres are going to be used to establish a secured, fully screened impound and vehicle storage facility that will support public safety by giving the Currituck County Sheriff's Office, Highway Patrol, and local police a reliable nearby location for impounded or recovered vehicles. Officers currently must have vehicles hauled long distances and some to out-of-county impound lots. This site would reduce response times and towing distances, saving taxpayers by reducing officers' fuel and labor costs. Majority of the stores will be from impounded vehicles from law enforcement, but there may be a need for someone to store a vehicle while they're out of town, which I think they might not be doing anymore, yeah. Again, this was just community meeting before submittal. Just a plat, a layout of the
Okay.
plat. Kind of a general, similar to this, not quite,
Okay.
but just, hand-drawn aerial photography.
No, I was just
Yep.
curious if any of the neighboring landowners came and had any thoughts.
Let's see.
If you don't have it, it's okay too.
Yeah, I don't know that we got any, I don't know that there were many, I did not attend the meeting.
Okay.
I don't remember there being any concerns raised at the meeting. The gentleman here can speak to that when it's their
Okay.
turn. Yep.
That's fine.
Any more questions? I just want to make sure I'm clear. We've got the single-family lots, 3 of them, that are adjacent to 168.
Excuse me.
If this conditional rezoning were to go through, those will no longer be single-family lots. The entire plat now will be light industrial.
So only the red outline piece,
So just that
the
single
red
family.
outline piece will
Okay.
be conditional light industrial.
Okay. Because they need the access to get to it. So these other
Correct.
two single-family will stay single-family. They're actually considered separate.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the 3 parcels there.
Okay.
The big plot to the south is owned by the same heirs.
Mm-hmm. To the south, yeah. Yeah, I can read it now.
Some of them.
The big,
So Jenny, you were saying if this were to go light industrial, it would be the full gamut of what light industrial,
No,
it would not.
it is
should be.
only what you see here and the conditions that are proposed, if they're agreed upon and approved. It will be this conceptual plan, those conditions, that's what's approved. So it's not industrial
Okay,
generally. It is conditionally. So it's subject to the conceptual development plan and conditions.
okay, so if the property's changed or sold off, it's still held to the conditions that were.
Correct. It's
here.
light
Okay.
industrial, and those are the conditions, and that is the plan.
Ah, okay,
And so that is what's allowed there unless something has changed.
all right.
And that would be through this same process.
And it's really just storage, right? They're not working on,
Impound storage, right?
yeah, it's just
Correct.
impound
It's
storage. So they're
wrecker,
really
service, and impound
not
storage.
working with acetylene or anything like that to do any type of repairs or anything
No,
like that.
no repairs are proposed. It's automotive wrecker service, yeah.
Okay.
Does, did you happen to see or look into what the spacing of current impound storage is in our county? So we don't know.
There are some, but I don't have all those details.
Okay. Wonder what the police have to say about that.
all the tow companies have their own impounds.
Here's what?
The tow companies have their own impounds.
Oh,
And
okay.
then we have a small lot if we need to keep it for us.
Just a little comment here. For me, the essence of this type of business is that it be discreet. And I can't imagine a more discreet location than this. I think it couldn't be a better place, a more appropriate location for it. And I think it would be an excellent use of the land.
Any more questions?
I have one more.
You always say one more.
Try to be thorough. My question is, I'm looking at, it was on page 8, the automotive wrecker service definition. Establishment has 10 or more inoperable vehicles located on site, which I'm understanding we also may have some insurance wreckage there as well. For more than 90 days, it shall be considered a salvage and junkyard. How does that salvage and junkyard nomenclature apply to an impound?
It can't be that. If there were more than that many cars for that many days, it would be in violation.
Okay,
So it would be a procedure. I mean, it would really be, they would need to monitor to make sure they're staying in compliance with the definition of automotive record service.
so it would be a
Right.
honor system or,
Pretty much, I mean,
Kinda thing?
that's pretty much how it is, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that was it.
And they, I mean, we did discuss that because we were discussing the definition and trying to kind of figure out and make sure it fits exactly what they were trying to do because it was a little bit unclear. But then when we really looked at it line by line, it's like some of what they're doing will be inoperables. A lot of it will not be inoperables. So.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, if anyone is signed up to speak to this case, please come forward and just state your name and address.
Excuse me.
Good evening again. My name is Carl Furby, and I currently live at 304 Webb Hill Street, Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. But I was born on Pointer Road. Actually, my mom said I was born in Dr. Rahm's office in Moyock. So, anyway, my sister still lives at the address, and I got a sister that lives in Moyock. Got cousins all through the area, but me currently, I was chosen to speak on behalf of the family. But again, they are all in agreement with what we're trying to do. So I know we're the only ones that I don't want to hold you up between you and dinner time. So I'm gonna try to be pretty quick if I can. But I did want to clarify what we were really trying to do, because when you look at it, on paper, it's great, but again, it doesn't really give all the things that we're really trying to do. And one is, the main thing that we're trying to do is to, let me introduce, of course, my name is Carl Furby. This is James Howes. He is the business owner that will be trying to operate the business there. Again, it's about 7.69 acres, as we said earlier, and I jotted some notes down, so pardon me if I don't really. And it falls under automotive record service use. But when you think about that, you think about a junkyard, but it is in no way a junkyard. It's a police impound lot. And my friend James had talked with some of the officers around, and they were saying it's a need. We really need that now, especially with all the north side growing and how it's going. We really need a place where we don't have to wait on, and let's say that they stop someone, and I'm gonna use this just for an example, and they don't have insurance on the car. Well, they're going to impound that vehicle. Well, if the lot person's got to come 15 miles or 20 miles, that's 30 minutes, 40 minutes that they have to wait for that. But they want something more centrally located to the north side. The north side is what's really growing right now, so they want something to accommodate that a little bit. And the proposed lot is low intensity, and this gentleman here, more than me, was very, very concerned about the lots beside it, and I was concerned because some of that lots I'm a part of that lot, but what we looked at was we didn't want to do anything near the roadside, because we know that in our town. Let me back up a little bit. I was on the planning board for 10 years in my town, and then I moved to city council and all this stuff, and I know where you are. So we had a beautification committee, and that if you did, okay, you guys, we had some holly trees at one point that we took 2 years to get them removed. But I'm saying that to say, he was very concerned about making sure that it wasn't seen from the roadside. So the way we designed it was that it would never be seen from the roadside once it's fully grown up. All the vegetation. Can you show them the pictures? Mm-hmm. Pass those pictures out. If you don't know it's there, you won't know it's there, and that was a good thing. Not only for that, but for the lots beside.
Look like from 168.
It was the lots beside the impound lot that's being affected.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Those are still all. I know you really say, well, where is it? You don't. Those are still all owned by the family. It's actually a 32-acre lot altogether, and it's all owned by the family. But he was looking at it and say, you know what? I'm gonna do 7.69 acres, but I'm gonna only use 2 acres. That's 25% of what he could have used, and he is using all the other areas as buffers. And that to me was saying, hey, look, I care about who is going to be there. Right now, there's nobody there. It's all farmland per se. There's one burnt out trailer on the highway, And my cousin owned that, and they told me, look, I'm not planning to go back there. And it's nobody there. But the main thing is we still want to be close to what we're trying to do, or what you're trying to do with the flume, as you call it, the future land use, and with a comprehensive development plan. That's what we call it. You call it the 2040 vision plan. We studied that. We said, look, we got to make sure that we cover all of these items and don't infract any of those. So, again, it's needed by the county. It will save taxpayers money. You'll be surprised and you guys won't be surprised because you sometimes see your budget, at how much money the officers use in fuel. I mean, it is astronomical. And guess what? Even higher now. So this will save time where they can go and get the things done quicker, won't have to wait. And the other part of that is and I'm going to go with what I saw on the 2040 vision plan, and I'm going to read it. And it said 81% of the workforce commute outside of the county. And that's what was written in the plan. It says high commute rates result in retail leakage, creating an imbalance between the service provided by the county and the sales tax revenues received. And it said the vision plan, it was concern for the county. This is a young man here that's trying to stay in the county, trying to work in the county. He's a small business. And you also said in your plan that and you read it a little while ago, that you were trying to support the small businesses. The light industrial area is the best buffer that can go next to, I'm saying the best buffer. It is a good buffer that can go next to single family. It's a good buffer. And one of your things that you said earlier was, and I don't see that right now, but it said that we are trying to responsibly have it so that the growth of light industrial will be throughout the county. And that was in your 2040 vision plan. So we looked at that and said, you know what, this really is where he is right now. Again, the local impact right now is farmland. It's generating minimal taxes. Well, if it's changed to light industrial, you're going to get a tremendous more amount of tax than you are right now. Of course, we don't want to pay it, so we don't, but hopefully he'll. But those are some of the things that we looked at with the need being there. The change is pretty much, it's not, we looked at your previous one on the cement. It's not something that you're going to see from the highway. It's not going to give off any type of emission. It's not going to be loud. It's not going. So again, if you don't know it's there, you won't know it's there. Let's see if I've left off anything. We did have. We talked about wetlands a little bit. We did have the Corps of Engineers come out and look. And when he came out, it was Joshua Tutt. When he came out, he looked, he said, this is not wetlands. You do have some wet spots because it had to rain about 4 or 5 days. And anywhere in Currituck County, when it rains 4 or 5 days in a row, you're going to get that. He said, but this is doable. However, he didn't finish his assessment because he was transferred, and another guy that he contacted is going to come in and finish that. But Joshua, who is the Corps of Engineers guy, said there shouldn't be a problem with it being wetlands where he's trying to put his project. I don't. Again, there'll be no. If we look at the the map that's in the front of you, again, the reason we went back so far from the roadside was that so that it wouldn't be seen from the roadside. That's 2 football fields that goes back before his project even start, a little more than 2 football fields. And there are some natural buffers, and then he's going to plant buffers across the front, and when it's fully developed, you won't see that at all. Some of the goals that you guys had again was to support the retention and expansion of existing businesses. He's right now. I won't say he's struggling because he's not, but he's trying to stay here in town. Small businesses, in particular those like James and his business, to help the diversity of the local economy and compatible with the county's natural amenities and environment. I believe Jenny read that a little while ago. That's what you guys wrote in your vision plan, and that's what we're trying to abide by. We've been working on this for about 7 or 8 months now with Jenny, and again, we appreciate you guys' help with that because we wouldn't have been able to be here tonight if they didn't give us a hand in doing that, and we thank them for that. But again, we think the project is a win-win for the county, and we appreciate your consideration in this project. If you have any questions for me or James, we'd be glad to try to answer those. It's pretty quick, and sometimes when we're up trying to speak before you guys, we're not really nervous, but we don't get it all together sometimes. So, but if there are any questions that you have, we're glad to try to answer those.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So, what data do you have to support the need? I mean, where are the facilities now? How far are they spread apart? Why is there any statistics to tell us that there's a need for this?
Well, there's not one in the northern part, 168 quarter from here to Moyock and back, and that's where the growth is. There's nothing there. There's one, I believe, close to the bridge down on
Dare County.
next to Dare County, and then there's one over past Indiantown, back over in that section, I believe. And that's it. So for this area, which is the busiest area, which is the growing area, there's nothing. And there was some research done. He did some research, and they told him, what was it specifically?
He said we can use all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Who is this?
We need this.
And I'm going to have you just state your name and address for the records.
Oh,
since
yes,
you're
sir.
gonna go ahead and
James
speak.
Hiles. I live at 218 Pointers Road.
Okay.
It was quite a few of them. Current law enforcement officers.
State, county?
County.
County,
Yes, sir.
okay.
They said there was a need, and I would find no opposition from them, and that they could use all the help they can get.
I presume that these impounded vehicles can be vehicles also from accidents?
Yes,
Car
sir.
wrecks? What, I didn't see anything, provisions in here for dealing with the fluids from car accidents, and I mean, how do you deal with that? As I presume you're going to be the wrecker company also that's bringing these here?
Yes, sir. I will.
Okay, so what standards do you currently have for dealing with that? And then what other standards are for dealing with leaking fluids at the site? And I didn't see anything about what type of pad it's going to be here. Maybe I missed that. Is that a gravel pad it's going to be on?
Yes, sir. So the pad is going to consist of sand on the bottom, and then we're going to do a permeable type of gravel, whether it's 57 stone or crusher run. It has to be permeable. I spent 17 years in the Merchant Marines. My field was dangerous liquid transportation. I'm very versed in containment of oil, gas, any fluids you can think of, and how I would do that. There's many apparatus we could use. There's oil pads. There's known as diapers,
Yeah, I've seen them.
sausages, which are the long cylindrical.
You're generally in the water, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sounds like something to eat to me.
On the on the lands, the fluid, if they're wrecked, it's probably not going to be much left of it. It'll probably be on the highway. You know what I mean?
Great.
So, there's not going to be a big oil spill on the impound lot, you know. So
I guess my next question is probably more back to the county. What does the county recommend or actually, I guess, states has to be done for this type of storage? I mean, this is really a breakout storage of vehicles. Is
What
because,
do you mean? With
So, I
respect
mean-
to like the fluids issue?
yeah,
or-
exactly. I mean,
We just would need to meet any requirements. I mean, we don't have any specific requirements for that.
okay, where would that fall under? Would that fall under more state or
I don't know.
environmental?
I'm not sure if there are regulations.
Yeah, I'm just a little
Mike, I don't know if he
concerned about
knows.
that. I've seen a few times where we have car fires out on the beach and there's fluids that are coming out of them. And I think there's a standard, I thought there was a standard for the tow companies to capture wherever it leaked and to dispose of that properly as well as contain the fluids, to capture the fluids.
sure. That's where the diapers would come in. We would capture the oil. We wouldn't just let it seep into the ground. It would be a top notch. We would do our best to contain the situation.
Yeah.
Minimal environmental impacts.
So if there's a retention pond, is there also an oil separator? Because typically, if it is going to hit the ground, it's going to, all these fluids are going to float when you get rain. They come to the top, the water goes down, and then they make their way to what's going to be your retention pond. Is there an oil separator there?
Well,
we
Well, right now, the Corps of Engineer and the, we drew that in because we didn't know whether it would need one there or not. We don't know for sure at this point. So that part, we will look at it
Okay.
at some point. But we drew that in just in case. We said, look, if it's needed, he said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do I'm going to do anything or any condition that is put on me, I'm going to do it because he wants this to work. He said, it doesn't, and I'm just ad-libbing some of, he said, it doesn't make sense that he lives right there. He lives off of Pointers Road. His place will be right there. He said, I can monitor it from home. I can get there in 2 minutes, in 3 minutes, versus going 30 minutes to try to get to a place. He said, so it makes, like Mr. Ings kind of said earlier, it makes sense that it would be there, and especially with the north growing like it's growing. And of course, the other part though is this will deter some of the growth. There's no infrastructure. There's no road. There's no money from the county to make this happen. If something like, what's the new, I'll say Eagle Creek and Frost or whatever the name was, Forest, if something like that, I mean, you got to spend a lot of money to try to water sewer, schools and whatever. This is nothing. It won't be, I'm going to say it this way, it may be a dime, but it won't be one dime from the county for this to happen. And that's, to me, is a win-win.
Well, I do appreciate your efforts to try and keep it out of view too, because that's, it looks like the design layout's a nice layout. I would, and I don't know what hoops you'll have to jump through for the chemicals. I'm sure there's probably other things if you were to get this that you still have to
Right,
get
as
approved
they
for.
get closer into the
As my associate would say, one more question.
who is looking that way.
So I'm curious, if did I hear it right? Was it 90 days is the maximum, right? What is your plan for the post 90 days? I mean, where do they go from there?
So the faster the turnaround of these vehicles, the more money we make. So the longer they're there, the less money we're going to make, obviously. So there's a policy where I can enter a lien on the vehicle 10 days after I have it. So if they don't come get it 30 days after I notify them and with certified mail, it's mine. In which case I would take it to an auction, or I would hold an auction. Probably wouldn't hold an auction on the lot. The customers are not even allowed to step foot in the lot for liability purposes. So I would have to go get the vehicle out of the lot, bring it to the entrance of the lot. Nobody's allowed in that lot but me or, God willing, future employees. So the turnaround would be 90 days would be very easy to do, because the more turnaround, the more money we make, the more money the county makes. It's win-win for everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a current business, and if so, how are you functioning with that if you do?
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. He mentioned the word struggling. No, we're good. We've just hit a ceiling. We've hit a ceiling. We need an impound lot to branch out to access different avenues of the industry. Yes, I own Silverback Towing. I've owned Silverback Towing for 19 months now. I was a merchant marine for 17 years, and I sunk all my savings into a tow business so I could be home with my family. I got 4 small children. Well, 3 small children. One's in college. And I wanted to be home, so I bought a tow company. I started a tow company, and like I said, we've hit a ceiling, and this is the ticket to the show.
What have you been doing in those 19 months with the cars, just towing from
It's
point
all
A to point
consensual.
B?
Yeah, you have to have an impound lot to get into the unconsensual towing.
What's that?
So basically you need a tow, you call me. That's what I've been doing. I could get into
Rotation?
yeah, so I could get into the rotation with the police, PPI, which is personal property impound. Like if your car is parked in a handicap spot, the property owner can call and have you towed. And it's just different avenues that we can take with an impound lot. And we want to get into it to help the community. We want to be a part of the community. We love living here and want to make a living in this community. So.
Okay. Any more questions for the applicants? And the heirs that you represent, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're speaking for the family.
Yes, sir. I am.
They're actually fine with all of this. Doesn't
They
sound
are.
like there's been any
They are.
objection, and you've kept it all together, so that's
They are.
dealing with families on stuff like this is a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hold a family meeting probably once every 2 or 3 months,
Okay.
So your family owns all the surrounding property?
Yeah, I'm familiar where it is, yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, I know the trailer you're talking about.
Oh,
I know
oh.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Oh, oh.
it's boarded up now,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
it is. It is. It was one of my cousins, and he was probably not doing as well as he could, and was living there, and it caught on fire. His sister actually owns it, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I'm familiar with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Non-consensual.
Yeah.
Non-consensual. That's what I was saying.
Any more questions for the applicant? Mr. Hedrick,
No, I don't have any.
you're exhausted with?
I'm exhausted.
How about-
Not just 2 more?
Nah.
Okay. Any more questions for staff or any discussion between board members?
If I may, there are some provisions in the county code of ordinances related to waste fluids. There's some provisions about, how that needs to be managed.
Okay.
So it could be a code issue if there was an issue with
Okay,
fluids.
so that'd be if they were to be granted that, it's the hoops that they'd have to jump
It would
through.
be,
Yeah,
He's willing to accept any type of conditions that you have. And again, we thank you for your consideration on this.
Yes, very much.
Okay, any discussion, guys? Okay, hearing none. This-
if I may, one more thing, sorry.
Yes.
So you do have your motion sheet, and, if you need to take some time to consider a motion and write it out, because the top one there is just giving you guidance on how to form a motion. And so just letting you know, if you need some time, depending on what your motion is going to be, please, if you need any help with ideas, like putting that into motion form, let me know.
Okay.
That was nice of you, thank you.
Yeah, so. And keep in mind, this is a conditional, what
Right.
we're seeing in front of us is what the conditions are, that any changes is just not something we would consider, like you had brought up. We're voting on what we're looking at right now. So at this time, I will entertain a motion from the board. And a motion for approval, as Jenny said, is, we just have to make sure we read some of the policies and goals when we make that, if we vote to approve. And if you if you move to approve, Jenny will guide you on this, because we do have a lot to understand as far as approval. I just want to make sure we word it properly for the record.
Yeah.
So, move to approve, where it says insert policies and goals, that would be based on, I believe, I just want to make sure we're going to look at the right thing on this. Just want to make sure we're going to be looking all on the same page here.
Hey Jenny, can I ask you another question? I know you laid it all out there, but what really is this that's keeping this from happening from a conditional standpoint? Why does it not fit? I mean, I'm looking at some of the things like the owner of the surrounding areas represented. Now, I know he could sell that property, but I've heard kind of both now. And I've heard from saying that it would be a good fit. I don't know the area well enough, where I am. I'm out in the sand, so I'm just curious what it was that the county saw, why this would not be a good fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the recommendation, right?
Yeah.
Future land use map, G1, policies related to land use, community character. It's low-lying land. It's adjacent to
Farmland.
residential and ag zoned property, like all of those pieces. And I will say, and I think it's clear that, we've made the recommendation based off of the plans that have been adopted. Are there some policies that may support commercial development? Yes. But that's where we felt that that our recommendation is rooted in the land use plan. Now, if there's some circumstance that you feel, this should be approved, certainly that is, our recommendation is our recommendation, This is a legislative decision, and if you want to approve, you need to make sure that your decision is
understand.
rooted in plans, so you need to have some policies that you feel that it's consistent with, and, you know, a reasonable, why it's consistent with the plans, why it's reasonable, and in the public interest. That should be part of your motion. If you feel like it should be a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for approval. Excuse me.
And what Jenny said is absolutely correct, and we would take the testimony that these gentlemen have said, you know, why they feel it's appropriate and why it's necessary, and we can certainly use that in our motion as well, that, you know, it serves a need for the safety in the community. There is a need in the northern end of the county for this type of facility. That certainly all can be in the motion if you're making a motion to approve.
I got one question. Maybe I should ask it sooner, but I just thought of it. Is there any locations on the north end of the county that are light industrial that are suitable for this application?
Well, there's heavy industrial, there's Windchaser, I know. There's some lots back there that have heavy industrial
Is that back
zoning.
behind East Coast Demo?
Yes.
Okay.
And there could be some other areas.
If I make a motion. I don't have to go for I gotta go verbatim, but I can.
You can make the motion, but then you're gonna have to have a second.
Okay.
Yeah,
But to share some of the reasoning why.
yeah, that's fine.
Done now, or,
Yeah, you could do that in any motion you make. Yeah.
okay, and then make, okay.
Mr. Chairman, it's out of order if
No.
he kind of speaks to his question.
To Mr. Corbell's? Yeah.
Question. I know, and we had talked earlier, that he had looked other places, and he looked in some of the places that you talked about. I believe you said there were 10-acre lots and 10-acre somethings, and it's astronomically priced. He said he just couldn't afford to do it, and he's getting and it's not all about the money, but he's getting a much better deal and return on being in this location. And again, he said it's more than double the price, and he said he just couldn't afford to go there. And if it's already industrialized, they can pretty much charge you what they want. So I believe that's what he had told me earlier as to why, because we looked at the same thing. Hey, look. So he said, man, I can't afford to go anywhere else because, first of all, it's large lots and it's priced way out of line.
I can see your point that it certainly could be costly, but I think the thing that's kind of sticking for me on this is that a little bit more of prep work to actually come up with the statistics, and it wouldn't have hurt to have law enforcement letters stating this. So we're going pretty much on hearsay right now, operating on that, and I felt like it would have been better for your case had you had some of that. Do you have any of that?
We got some names, but we don't want to give them to the law enforcement that we talk to in your arena.
Even a letter that they send any correspondence saying this is needed?
Go ahead.
It was more so conversations, multiple conversations.
Okay.
And it's credible conversation.
Well, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Yeah.
it's one of those
We
things.
wouldn't come in and use that if it wasn't so, because
Right.
that's a law enforcement, man. We ain't gonna come in and say something that's not quite right there. So it was very credible, and it was more, I'm aware of more than one myself, and he has talked to others out there.
And so you have looked at other industrial,
Yes, sir,
already
I have.
industrial sites?
Yes, sir.
Near
There's
the
some
area.
there's some further south, where the lot we were talking about by the the bridge going into Dare County. A company down there has one, but that's
Too far.
that's like 40 minutes away, so I have to be within 25 minutes of a police call. And that one's all the way, I think it's called Wind Chaser, possibly down that way. And then there was one up here that are 10-acre lots for over $400,000. And
And you only need 2 acres.
that's more than enough.
Yeah,
So
what-
this is
what-
exactly what I'm talking about. Some of these statistics which we're pulling out of you now would have been really nice in a presentation to support where you are with it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion. I would motion to deny this at this point. I move to deny the PB 26-03 Clifton White Heirs because of the request is not consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine Currituck 2040 Vision Plan, including land use policies 1.3, 2.3, 2.8, land use goal 2, and economic development policy 5.1.
Okay. We have a motion on the table for denial. Do I have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor to deny, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, likewise. Aye.
Aye.
So we have 3 to deny, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And 2 to approve. Motion passes.
4 to deny.
Sorry, oh, wait a minute.
4 to deny.
I didn't hear. What did Gary, I didn't hear your, what did you,
To deny.
to deny?
Deny.
Hendricks to deny?
Obviously, I made the motion.
And Corbell? Okay. 4 to deny, 2 to approve. Motion passes.
For the record, keep working on it, man.
Yeah, just a few more pieces to fill in there.
sure
And thank you
will.
for your service.
No problem. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
to be in touch to be the May 4th Board of Commissioners.
That was just it. I just think that they could have bolstered that a little bit.
And they can do that in front of the commissioners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a problem.
Okay.
I'm worried about a flood zone.
Because you're pushing against the grain, trying to get that done. You need to have your ducks in a row.
All right, announcements. I'm gonna make an announcement. Congratulations to Jenny,
Wetlands.
Thank you.
Director, right?
Yes, sir.
That's
Director
great.
Jenny.
Thank you.
Congratulations, well deserved.
You're not going to talk to us anymore, are you?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I am.
Are you getting your own
I'm
office?
still here.
No more just Jenny, we got it's director.
Director
Director
Turner.
Yeah, so,
Director Turner.
and any announcements?
Just was gonna say that Cherie had shared that training opportunity. If anybody's interested, I know Tom and I think Peggy signed up for it for legislative hearing training. It's an online. They have several opportunities. One's an online course, so if you want to register, just let Cherie know. I think it's May 14th. So, and she can get you registered and participate in that. I think it would be great if anybody
I can look at my schedule.
wanted to do that. And that's all I have.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out in a memo, but I wonder if you could send that back out again to everybody.
I sent it twice, I'll send it again.
Okay, sorry. And I saw it, how'd that
Yeah,
happen?
you
You're
got
gonna
it.
be
Tom.
online only that day?
Yeah, there were two options, one was in, well, I think
There were some in-person options that may be passed now, and then there's an online option for,
Yeah,
I
I
think,
think-
May
two
14th.
online options.
Were there
One was
two?
April and
Okay.
one was May.
Yeah,
I'll do the online.
I've got conflicting schedule issues, I think, on all the dates from what I
My
remember.
schedule.
Want to be added?
Yes, please.
Okay. To the May. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it appropriate to ask why the other business that we had in hand originally was withdrawn. Is the
It wasn't
appropriate
withdrawn. It wasn't withdrawn. We just pulled it from the agenda for tonight to continue to work with them on
I
the,
see.
on
Okay.
the application. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Meeting adjourned.
I might